Today we are going to revisit and give an update on a project to add a graphics card to an Odroid H3+. You can see here the computer as it was in the last video, with the Odroid computer in the top half of the case and the graphics card in the lower section. To connect the graphics card to the Odroid, we used an NVMe external graphics card stand, shown here, which connected via a ribbon cable to the M.2 slot on the base of the Odroid motherboard. While we did this using an Odroid H3+, as the H4 series had yet to be launched. The approach would work just as well with the H4 Plus and H4 Ultra Odroid boards. Although if you wish to use it with the basic H4 board, you would need to use the eMMC facility for storage. Mounting it in a Makerbeam frame worked well, but in retrospect we would have been better going for the NVMe external graphics card stand with the 50cm ribbon cable, rather than the 25cm, which would have given more flexibility in the design. The next stage was to look to how we were going to power everything. Powering the Odroid could easily be done with the Odroid's own 15V PSU. But the graphics card would of course need more power. So we chose a 500W all-in-one PSU from HDPlex, which was compact enough to fit into the frame and provide both the standard 24-pin ATX supply to the graphics card stand and the power connector to the graphics card itself. This power supply will provide significant power to the graphics with spare left over should we decide to add additional SATA storage. The system was now functional and was tested by running a number of benchmarks, and also a few renders within DaVinci Resolve. The fifth video in the series is where we started to complete the walls of the frame, with some 3D printed fascias to test out the airflow for cooling. While magnetic strips were used initially to connect the side panels to the frame, we have since discarded these as they didn't stick some of the time. We have, however, kept the magnetic tape on the acrylic top of the case, as here gravity is on our side. The final task was to finish the cladding to the lower half of the case, where the graphics card and PSU reside. As my 3D printer isn't large enough to print the sides, I outsourced to a company that does laser cut perforated aluminium to size, which has worked out well. The problem of the graphics card protruding from the front and rear of the case required the bottom part of the frame to be extended. And here is the current state of this computer. As you can see, we have extended the bottom half of the frame and inserted a 3D printed fascia to allow airflow from the graphics card. There is also enough room in here for another cooling fan should it be required. At the side of the extension, we've inserted perforated polypropylene sheets, which are still to be spray painted. Again, these will ensure adequate airflow. To the side of the frame, we have the perforated aluminium sheet. Again, painting of this is still to be completed. In the top half of the frame, the two sections of 3D printed fascias are now bolted to the frame. The aluminium side sheet has still got the magnetic strips, which do allow easy access to the graphics card for cleaning. These do appear to be sticking in place, so might be kept. Looking at the back of the case, you can see the same approach with the extension of the frame to allow coverage of the graphics card. The end fascia is yet to be designed, but there will be perforated polypropylene sides and top. Obviously, there will need to be good access to the graphics ports and to the mains power supply socket. There is a section still to be added to the top of the frame, to the left of the cooling fan. However, the plan is to add a second storage device in this empty section first. On the other side, you can see the matching aluminium perforated sheet in its unpainted state. This one is bolted to the frame. The acrylic top of the computer is still held in place by magnetic strips to allow easy access to the Odroid motherboard. So while there is still a little work to be done in the system, it's fairly close to completion. and the computer is used as our test system for new builds of DaVinci Resolve. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching.